thing I don't like, Tausch. I'm getting a little mad. I'm getting a little frustrated. You know why, Tausch?
Tush push?
No, not the tush push. I don't care about that. I need to have somebody push the tush of Gutey to actually do something because all he's talking about, he's down there at the owners' meetings, and he's talking about the fact that these guys, he's waiting for them to take the next step. Hey, my D-line, they're going to take the next step. They're going to take the next step. The running back, not running back, the receivers take the next step. Tausch, I'm sick of hearing about taking the next step, and I want to know when they're actually going to take the next step. And how long did it take you to take the next step, Tausch?
You take next steps every year you play in the league. Mm-hmm. So I understand, everybody wants stuff done today and you want to win the off season. And I just look at a lot of teams that have great marches and all this great excitement. You're going to, and I've been saying this on your guys' show for a while, you're going to get the most improvement from your guys going from year 1 to year 2 and year 2 to year 3. So I know that's not the sexy thing to say, but that's where you're looking for a Lucas Van Ness. You're looking for these wide receivers, whether it's going to be Reed or Wicks or whoever it's going to be. They have to take that jump. And, yes, you can go pick up free agents like they did at corner and at left guard, and you want those guys to come in and be impact players like you saw with McKinney and Jacobs, but you can't do that all the time. And the season hasn't even started. In respect to where these guys are at, they're working. They're not up in Green Bay yet. We heard from LaFleur today that they're not going to be there until the week after the draft. So
Tausch, I
get it.
I
get
feel
it, but it's just not. I don't think it's panic time from the Gutenator yet because you got to now get ready for the draft. There is a process that this goes through. And everybody wants to speed it up, but that's just unfortunately not.
I want more Mark Tauschers. I want guys that can come. Literally, Mark.
Let me jump in here with a real-time example. If you want to keep going, go at him.
Mark Tauscher, I just want you to know, as a 7th-round draft pick you were right out of Wisconsin,
Yep.
You were more productive year 1 right away. You were healthy, more productive than what we have from Jordan Morgan, a 1st-round draft pick. But we're going to be hearing about him after this season.
Yeah,
well,
but you know
we
what?
need him to take the next step, and Rasheed Walker beat him out, and he's going to rotate. I want guys like you. I don't want to have to wait all these years for 1st-round picks to take the next step that 7th-round picks can already do year 1.
I was just going to say Rasheed Walker has played 2 years as, basically the starting left tackle as a 7th-round pick. So there are going to be guys. Everybody doesn't grow and evolve at the same time. And 1st-round picks have higher expectations. There's more pressure on them to perform sooner, but it just doesn't – it's not always going to play out where guys are going to get thrown right in there and going to be playing and starting and getting all those opportunities. I don't want rookies to always have to step in and do that. I don't think that's necessarily the best thing either. Not just quarterback. There's other positions. I think Edgerrin Cooper is going to be another one of those guys when you're talking about getting better from within. You saw the defense get better as the season evolved, and that's because Edgerrin Cooper got more comfortable, and he's an impact player. So that's going to be where this team takes the next step and the big jump. It's not going to be picking up a free agent on April 1st. I just don't think that's going to be as big of a deal as seeing all these young players that you hope develop into becoming really good players for your team.
Yeah, no. So Mark Tauscher, Packer Hall of Famer, joining us here on Kyle Brust Nortman. I think part of the frustration is there's too many to point to, and there's some examples that you get excited about. But when you look at like a Tucker Kraft, I think a lot of people will look at him and hear Matt LaFleur talk about him and can feel really good about the step that he will take based off what he's shown. Lucas Van Ness was picked 13th in the NFL draft. It's hard for fans, and I understand why, to be like, yeah, I'm going to trust in Gutey and his process and believing the defensive line is going to take that next step, as we keep utilizing this word and phrase next step, when there wasn't enough evidence through his time as a Packer to give me confidence he's going to do that. Because the evidence isn't there necessarily for Devontae Wyatt. We talk about flashes. We don't talk about consistency. Quay Walker, we talk about flashes. We don't talk about consistency. There just seems to be too many of these guys to point to not give confidence in believing in this process right now.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and fight you on that. I think everybody wants things to happen immediately. But I'm telling you, if I was doing this hit with you guys back in 2016 or 2017, you would be having the same conversations about Davante Adams. And you can go back and look at all of the different players Not everybody starts as a rookie. Not everybody is a great player in year 2. There are other circumstances that come into play. And now that doesn't mean every one of those guys is going to be Devontae, but there is a process. And yes, you want to take next steps, and you want to do it last year. And there's concern at the wide receiver position. I'm with you guys. Guys didn't take the step, and it wasn't because they didn't have opportunities. There's too many drops. Those are the things that you have to, make that next step and be better. And if you don't, then Gutey's going to be on it, because Gutey is looking at this, and you didn't see the big move made at wide receiver because you're kind of banking that you're going to get better and better. That's the question. Are they going to get better? And will the offense be better? And I think from my perspective, that's the biggest unknown we have is that wide receiver position.
Tauscher, when the offseason began, Gutey honestly made waves saying, you know what, we got to have a sense of urgency. And he talked about the organization, the players. And we sort of all took that like, oh, wow, Gutey's going to operate with a sense of urgency this offseason. Doubled down in talking about the players needing a sense of urgency at the owners' meetings. But he basically said, look, I'm doing my job. Like, I acted with a sense of urgency. Look at our free agency. Would you describe this year's offseason for the Green Bay Packers as having a sense of urgency? And if not, what adjective would you use to describe this offseason so far?
Well, what I would say is it was not desperate. And I don't want to be acting out of places of desperation. Is there anybody here that doesn't think Gutey thought that the wide receiver position needed to be upgraded or needed to be improved? But it has to be at the right price. You can't just go and say, well, I want to go get a wideout. Well,
enough with the right price. If they signed Devontae to the contract, they could have made that exact same price or close to it work. And they didn't even call him.
I'm talking DK Metcalf. Listen, man, I wanted Devontae. I'm with you guys on that side of it. But I'm talking what you don't do is because you're desperate or the urgency, there's a fine line between urgency and desperation. And if you're going to go and do something big and you're wrong, just like I'm sure you guys went during the trade deadline, oh, my God, we got to get what's-his-face from Pittsburgh that ended up going to the Bears. I can't remember his name now. He gave him up a second-round pick, and Green Bay wanted to do
Chase
it.
Claypool.
Chase Claypool.
I wasn't a fan of his.
Claypool. You guys would be sitting there saying, oh, Claypool has to get – you don't just do stuff to do stuff. It has to make sense.
Well, they don't do stuff at all. So, I mean, that's cherry picking. Like, they don't do that ever.
They don't do stuff at all. They picked up the best safety in the business last year, the best
Tausch, you used an in-season trade. They don't do that.
They don't do what?
They don't pick up guys.
Listen, man, I'm not going to sit here and Devondre Campbell got picked up. They picked up Keyshawn Nixon. You guys are cherry picking what you want.
No.
I can cherry pick what I want.
It's a cherry pick off.
They paid the highest paid guys. They went about their business. They wanted to pick up a corner. They wanted to improve. This free agency class, in their opinion, wasn't that strong. They went and picked up what they thought. They spent very big dollars at left guard, very big. Then they went and found who they think can be a starting corner for them and paid him a contract that is it's not a monster, but you guys act like they haven't done anything. They have two big pickups in free agency. You can't pick up 7 guys and pay them top dollar.
No,
and then
okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's all good. We're not seeing it the same way, but now you're trying to make us look like we want 7 $100 million guys.
What do you want?
Well,
what did you want? What do you
Tausch, the defensive line is the same, and they're trying to sell us that it's going to be better. The wide receiver the same. They knew they needed something. Now you're trying to sell me it's going to be better. It's fine.
You want them to do? Instead of yelling,
okay, you said they didn't act desperate. Well, they didn't act in anything. They didn't even call Devontae. It's malpractice, and you know that, but you sound like you're on Gutey's payroll right now.
Oh, wow.
They did.
Cha-ching.
Obviously, you didn't want Devontae back. You asked Gutey why he didn't want him. I wanted Devontae. What do you mean I'm acting like I'm on his payroll? I was clamoring to bring Devontae, and they didn't. So, okay. Now, I didn't want DK Metcalf. I don't want to just make a move to make a move. That's where I guess I differ with you, Benny. I'm not going to sit here and panic about it. Now, is the receiving position need to be better than what it was? Yes. But there's young players. Benny, were you as good as a freshman as you were as a senior?
This isn't apples to apples.
It's not apples to apples. For you it is. But that's how this works. You get better. And if you don't, Gutey will be gone. If the receivers stink and the offense stinks and everything goes, guys get fired. That's how this works. Gutey's done a really good job. He's rebuilt this roster. You guys want to disagree with that, but guys have to get an opportunity to continue to grow. And if they don't, and you don't make the right moves, you lose your job. That's the accountability of the business.
Tausch, it just seems like they're content with good because they limit themselves with, okay, we're not going to take anyone over 30. We're not going to engage in trade. We're just going to draft and develop. And they got a lot of guys across the team that are good. And we just hope they take that next step. It just seems like there is a contentment in Green Bay with making the playoffs and just kind of hoping that you catch lightning in a bottle one year.
All right. I'm just dumbfounded because you're not going to be the 1 seed every year. You're not. They want to. You're telling me you don't think they want to win a championship?
No, they.
Actions over words.
I will say this. You know, I'm a Packer backer just like you, but we both know what they did this offseason. This was not an offseason to put them in a position to win a championship. Your receiving room is actually worse than what it was due to injury and not having Christian Watson. Now, your offensive line is better, but at the cornerback position, you're not going to have 𝙍𝙍𝙍𝙍 at all.
You didn't have him last year either.
You had him for some games, but now at all. Your cornerback room did not get better. Your D-line is going to be, you're going to hope that Lucas Van Ness takes the next step, but you're not going to get much more out of Rashawn Gary. You're not going to get much more out of Kenny Clark. He's 30. And so at this point, it's just the Packers did not do enough to put themselves in a position to say, that team right there, oh, yeah, they're for sure. They're going to be knocking at the door to do something.
Deal. You guys believe that, and you can, and you have every right to do it. That's not how Gutey feels.
That's ultimately,
that stubbornness is going to be his Achilles heel because he's going to be sitting here with us in a couple years.
Listen, guys, if you guys are right and this team goes 6-11 next year and they stink on
here we go. I've said they're going to be 9-12, anywhere or 9-12 wins in that range, and it's going to feel a lot like last year. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
The bottom line is, if you guys are right and it's the world is caving in and they're going to be an average team and maybe be the 7th seed again.
Actually, he hangs up on us. I want to hang up on him because now he's trying to speak for us, and I'm not for it.
He's spinning us to be some like.
The only thing I'm aligned with Mark Tauscher is how good Gina Della from Pella is, and I saw her yesterday in the flesh, Tausch.
Did you guys hang up on me, or am I hanging up on you?
Now it's a hang up.
I was actually trying to hang up.
Okay. I'm dropping you.
Oh,
dropping
so good,
you.
Tausch.
He gone. I got rid of him.